The arrival of the Galactic Council's main chamber was always loud. Alien voices from hundreds of worlds echoed across the marble walls. But today, it was silent. Something had arrived. Deep sensors near the edge of Council-controlled space had detected a jump. It was far bigger than normal traffic. Everyone expected a fleet. After all, the humans had been silent for years. Some believed they were hiding, building. Others thought they had given up, but the humans had sent only one ship. It appeared without warning near the capital system, floating just beyond the reach of planetary defense platforms. It didn't hail. It didn't scan. It just waited. Council Commander Zayler, a tall creature with crystal eyes and skin like polished stone, stared at the display. One vessel? He growled. That cannot be right. Admiral Trekovici. Varn Empire leaned forward, tapping his sharp claws on the table. Perhaps it's a scout, or a message, or a trick. It's too large for a scout, replied a soft voice. It came from Siravelin, the ambassador from the Terran species, known for studying other civilizations. She had spent time on Earth years ago. She knew their history, their wars, their strange emotions. Humans don't do anything without meaning, she said quietly. If they sent one ship, it's because one is all they need. The council members exchanged nervous glances. In space, the human ship sat like a shadow against the stars. It had no markings, no lights. The hull shimmered, almost like it was alive. Its shape was strange, part smooth, part jagged, like it had grown instead of being built. Dozens of alien fleets had gathered nearby. Their weapons were locked, their captains tense. And then a message came. Just 3 words. Simple. Direct. This is enough. Panic rippled through the council. What does that mean? Shouted a general. Is it a threat? Asked another. No. Translation error, said the AI interpreter. It means exactly what it says. Council Commander Zayler slammed his fist. Send a drone. I want to see what's inside that thing. A small black drone shot toward the human ship. It was invisible to most sensors. It moved fast, weaving between static fields and signal jammers. As it neared the human vessel, it began scanning. Nothing. No life signs. No engine heat. No shields. Just silence. Then the drone found an opening like a hangar, but it wasn't. Shaped like any dock ever seen. The walls seemed to move, like breathing metal. The drone slipped inside. Inside was a chamber. Empty, dark. But then the drone's lights caught something rows and rows of strange pods. Inside them were glowing cores, pulsing like hearts. Before the drone could finish scanning, its feed cut out. On the council screen, the last thing shown was a symbol, an old human symbol from ancient Earth. The council chamber erupted into chaos. They're hiding something. What are those pods? We should destroy it now, before it's too late. But Siravelin raised her hand. No, she said calmly. That ship is not here to fight us. Not yet. Commander Zayler turned to her. Then why is it here? She looked at the screen, where the human ship still floated silently. To warn. U.S., she whispered. Or to test us. Back in space, the human ship lit up. Not weapons, not shields, just lights, glowing slowly along its surface. Patterns, symbols, stories. The ship was telling a story. Images of human history began appearing in space around it, holographic projections, too large to ignore. Wars, destruction, hope, rebuilding. It showed Earth burning, Earth healing, Earth rising again. One scene showed humans reaching for the stars with broken hands, but unbroken. Another showed a single man standing in front of a machine, unafraid. The final image was of a child reaching out into the dark. While stars bent toward their hand, the aliens watched in silence. They were not sure what it meant. Then, one last message came from the human ship. You looked. Now wait. Far away, deep in a human base buried under the surface of Mars, a silent figure stood before a control panel. They wore a black uniform with no rank, no name. A voice behind them asked, "Are you sure this is the right time?" The figure nodded. They're not ready, but they need to see. The screen before them showed the Galactic Council's fleet watching, waiting, scared. It begins now, the figure said. Let them wonder, let them fear. One ship is all it will take. Asterisk the council debates, the chamber lights dimmed as the final message from the human ship echoed through the room. You looked, now wait. Council Commander Zayler leaned forward, his hands gripping the table's edge. His voice was low, but sharp. We don't wait. Not for a species known for war. The others stayed quiet. The silence was thick. Even the AI recorders paused, as if sensing the weight of the moment. Ambassador Ciravellan broke the stillness. Asked why they sent only one ship, she said softly. They're answering, just not in the way we expected. A thick-scaled admiral from the Burzek Empire growled. Their silence is not strategy, it's insult. We should destroy the vessel now and send a message back. But what if that ship is the message? Asked an old scholar from the neutral Osari race. What if it's not a weapon, but a lesson? Dozens of alien leaders argued across the chamber. Some wanted to launch an attack. Others demanded a diplomatic approach. A few suggested simply ignoring the ship and continuing with Galactic affairs. But everyone was afraid, not of the ship itself, but of what it might represent. Meanwhile, orbiting just beyond the moon of Volta Prime, the human ship remained still, completely silent. No response to the destroyed drone. No reaction to the fleets gathering around it. No threat posture, yet no one dared move closer. Sensors couldn't scan its internal systems. The ship absorbed light, sound, and even gravity, in strange ways. Some scientists began calling it a gravity ghost because it seemed to bend physics just by existing, and something else began to happen. Each alien vessel near the human ship started receiving small, personalized signals. Nothing large. Just a few lines of text in each species' native language. The messages were different, but all carried the same warning. You are not the enemy, but you are not ready. Inside the council chambers, an emergency meeting was held behind sealed walls. Only the highest level officials were present. I studied human history for over 30 cycles, Ciravellan said. They've always been underestimated, always surrounded by stronger powers. Yet they survived, not by strength, but by something else. Commander Zayler narrowed his eyes. What are you suggesting? They build strange things, she said. They fight with strange logic, but they win, because they don't fear death the way others do. And they don't send warnings, unless it's already too late. An AI analyst played the last footage recovered from the drone, got it zoomed in on the glowing pods inside the human ship. The lights inside pulsed slowly, but they weren't machines. They were hearts, not biological, not artificial, something new. Something between life and technology. Commander Zayler stared. How many were there? He asked. The analyst replied. We counted over 1,000. Possibly more. 1,000 beings inside a single ship, muttered the admiral of the Skarn Navy. That's not a crew. That's an army. Or, Cira said, that's a message too. Outside, things began to change. Without sound or light, a ring of small drones emerged from the human ship. They didn't attack. Instead, they orbited the vessel, slowly forming a spinning ring. The ring projected something into space, a map. It was not a galactic map, not of stars or planets. It was a map of time. Moments, events, a timeline. with dozens of warnings marked. In red, alien officials stared in confusion until one detail chilled them. Each red mark corresponded to a disaster that had already happened, one in each corner of the galaxy. Systems that had collapsed without cause. Stars that blinked out. Entire planets turned to dust dot, and in the center of the map, the present-day dot below it, one single message appeared. This is the last point before silence. Back in the council, panic returned. What are they trying to tell us? Did they cause those disasters? Or are they chasing something? Velen stood again. She was shaking not from fear, but realization. They knew this was coming, she said. The disasters, the disappearances, the dark zones. They knew, and no one listened. Commander Zayler leaned back. For once, he had no orders. Only questions. And now they've come, he said slowly, with one ship, one warning, and too many answers. He looked at the others. What do we do when the ones we thought were behind turn out to be the ones running ahead? No one replied. But far above them, the human ship slowly turned facing deep space, as if waiting for something only it could see. Asterisk. The flashback files far beneath the Martian surface. Behind blast doors thicker than starship hulls, a vault opened. Only one person was inside. She was tall, calm, wearing a black suit with a silver badge that simply said, Archivist. The room was dark, except for a single glowing console in the center. The screen displayed only one word, activated. The archivist nodded to herself and pressed her hand against the scanner. Begin playback, she said softly. The screen flickered, and the past came alive. 5 Earth years earlier, the skies above Earth were quiet, but beneath that calm, the world was changing. Strange signals had begun to reach Earth's outer listening. Posts, not language. Not data, just dot 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 noise. Patterns repeating across deep space. Like something calling out or something hunting. Aboard a massive research station orbiting Saturn, a group of top scientists stood in silence. It's not alien, said Dr. Hawley, the astrophysicist in charge. At least, not in the way we understand. He pointed at the waveforms on the screen. This is cosmic background decay. Reality itself being pulled apart in strands. Something's eating the universe. There was panic at first, then urgency, then clarity. One voice among them, a quiet woman from Earth's military wing, spoke. The words that started it all. We won't outrun it. We can't stop it, but we can send something into it. Back in the Martian vault, the archivist watched. The video calmly as more files opened. Photos, simulations, ship designs, names. The birth of Project Leviathan. It wasn't just a ship. It was a message, a weapon, and a warning, all in one. Built with dark energy shielding. Designed to survive where no light escaped. Powered not by fusion or plasma, but by something only humans had dared to experiment with quantum singular memory cores. Each one contained a recorded soul. Memories, instincts, decisions. Humanity didn't send soldiers. They sent 1,024 minds. All merged, all focused, all loyal to one mission. Reach the point of collapse. Understand it. Stop it, if possible. Survive, if not. And warn the others. One ship was built. Only one was launched. And no one knew if it would ever return. Until now. On the capital planet of the Galactic Council, Ambassador Velen sat alone in her quarters, scrolling through her own personal records. She still had access to human data archives from her time on Earth. She searched the word Leviathan. Dozens of meanings appeared. A sea monster, a force of nature, a creature no one could defeat, a protector, and then, at the bottom, a quote from an ancient Earth book. Sometimes the strongest creature is the one that walks alone. She closed her eyes. Of course, she whispered. That's why they only sent one. In orbit, the human ship shifted again. Its hull began to glow, not bright, not blinding, but alive. Patterns ran across its surface like flowing water. For the first time, it broadcast visual data, but what appeared was not human. A dark region in space, blacker than black. A sphere of nothingness, where even light went to die. Around it, dead stars and ruined systems. The ship had been there, and it had survived. The projection showed another ship alien, unfamiliar being pulled into the void. No weapons, no screens. Just quiet, final disappearance. The human ships? Message appeared again. We followed it. We watched it consume. You did not believe. But now it is here. Every fleet commander on every alien ship suddenly realized this wasn't a threat. This was a final chance dot in the Martian vault. The archivist watched the last message from the Leviathan's original creators dot. It was an old recording. The woman who led the mission stood in a hangar, her face calm, her voice steady. If you're watching this, she said. Then Leviathan made it back. That means the thing is close behind. She looked into the camera. You still have time. Not much, but enough. Listen to it. Understand it. Don't fear it. Just act. The screen turned black dot then. One line appeared. Humanity is not your enemy, but the void doesn't care who dies first. In the Galactic Council chambers, chaos returned. But it was a different kind of chaos, not fear. Not pride, just urgency. What do we do now? Asked a young envoy. Commander Zayler didn't answer. He simply stared at the stars. Behind them, the human ship floated. Alone, silent. But no one doubted anymore. It was here for all of them, and time was running out. Asterisk false attack. Galactic Council was still in session when the explosion happened. An alert blared across the chamber. Emergency lights flickered red. Unauthorized weapons discharged near the human vessel. Siravellan stood up instantly. Who fired? A trembling aide replied, It's the Zarn Collective. One of their warships launched a plasma torpedo. Commander. Zayler slammed his hand on the desk. Why? We gave strict orders. They claim it was a warning shot. To test the ship's defense. Idiots, Sira whispered. They don't understand what they just touched. In orbit, the torpedo moved fast. Bright blue, burning through the silence of space. The human ship didn't move. It didn't activate shields. It didn't even acknowledge the threat. Then dash impact. A burst of light. A shockwave across space. Alien sensors flared. But when the light cleared, the human ship still floated. Untouched. Not a scratch. The torpedo had disappeared the moment. It made contact, not exploded, not reflected. Just absorbed. The alien fleets went quiet. The Zarn warship powered down instantly, unsure whether to flee or wait for retaliation. Then came the response, but not with weapons, with memories. Suddenly, a wave of data burst from the human ship, raw, emotional, overwhelming. It didn't target ships. It targeted minds. Every commander, every pilot, every council member. They saw flashes, not of war, but of pain. A young human child holding a burned photograph after their city was lost to an alien strike. A soldier standing alone on a moon, choosing to stay behind so others could escape. An old woman writing a message to a galaxy that would never listen, saying, We tried to warn you. The council chamber turned cold. No one moved. No one spoke. Even the most hardened wore. Leaders had tears in their eyes. The message was clear. Humanity had seen this before. And now, they were the last ones standing between the galaxy and extinction. Commander Zayler's voice cracked as he whispered, What kind of ship carries memories like that? Sira replied, "Not a warship, a witness, a graveyard, a warning." On the Zarn ship, the captain fell to his knees. His crew stood frozen, unable to explain the wave of emotions that had hit them. Suddenly, their screens lit up. One single message from the human vessel, directed only at them. "Do not fear us, but do not repeat your mistake." Elsewhere in deep space, near the edge of the galaxy, something stirred. A place once filled with stars had become dark, silent, cold, the same wave of destruction that the human ship had followed was moving again. But now it wasn't subtle. Whole systems blinked out. Lights vanished. Civilizations went quiet. And as it moved, it left behind only one thing: silence. Back in orbit, the human ship began to unfold. Panels along its surface split, open like wings. Not weapons transmitters. Ancient, massive, broadcasting a signal not in any known language, but in frequencies tied to gravity, time, and memory itself. Ships nearby started to vibrate. Their systems flickered. Then the sky changed. Above every planet in the system, a hologram appeared, a black circle, a countdown. 7 days. Just that. No explanation. No escape. No mercy. In the council chambers, fear turned into chaos. 7 days until... What? Is it an attack? Is the human ship doing this? Sira Velen shook her head. No, it's not a threat. She pointed at the countdown. It's a deadline. Something is coming. And we have 7 days to decide. Do we stand together? Or die alone? Commander Zayler looked up at the stars. They suddenly felt smaller, colder. Then he turned to the council. No more debates, he said. No more pride. We need answers. And there's only one place to get them. He pointed at the screen, where the human ship now pulsed with quiet energy. Prepare a team, he said. We're going inside. The True Threat 3 elite ships left the Galactic Council's command station, heading toward the human vessel. On board the lead shuttle was Sira Velen, chosen by the Council to lead the boarding team. Beside her were 2 scientists, 1 diplomat, and a single security officer from the Jernax Corps' massive, armored, silent dot. As the shuttle approached, the crew held their breath. The human ship didn't move. It allowed the approach. At a certain point, the shuttle stopped. No door opened. Instead, a message flashed on every screen. Enter unarmed. Leave with truth. The team hesitated. The Jernax officer slowly removed his weapon and nodded. The rest followed. Seconds later, an opening appeared, a circular airlock made of shifting light and silver mist. They entered. Inside the human ship, it was nothing like any alien vessel they had seen before. It was quiet. Not empty, but still. The walls glowed gently. Shapes moved through the metal-like light, trapped in flowing water. The air felt alive. The group stepped carefully, their boots echoing on the smooth floor. Strange symbols blinked along the walls, pulsing like a heartbeat, and the path opened into a large chamber. There, in the center, stood a monument, a tall black spire, surrounded by holographic projections. But it wasn't made for humans. It was made for them. Dozens of languages appeared, shifting in front of their eyes, finally settling into each of their native tongues. The message began. We were the first to see it, the first to lose, the first to understand. Images filled the air, a star system collapsing not by war, not by nature, but by something invisible. Whole planets dissolved. Time skipped. Matter vanished. It wasn't a weapon. It was a cosmic predator. The team stared in silence. What is it? Asked the scientist in a whisper. A new projection appeared. A black sphere, the same seen in the countdown warning. Only now it was moving. It was not alive, not thinking, just consuming. Not evil, just unstoppable. Entropy with hunger. A line of text appeared. We named it the Unmaker. Sira stepped forward. Why haven't we seen it before? Another answer appeared. Because you were not watching. Then, behind them, the walls shimmered again. A pod opened. Inside was a body, not human, not alien. Its features were burned, twisted by something unknown. But around its neck was a piece of metal marked with an alien language. The scientist translated it aloud. We came to warn them, but we were too late. Everyone froze. This wasn't just a human warning. This was the fate of another galaxy. Ship continued its story. The Unmaker wasn't an enemy to fight. It didn't care who was strong or weak. It simply spread. Every time someone fired a weapon made of advanced energy, it learned. Every time a star system pushed time with technology, it listened. And then it came. Humans had discovered it by accident during their experiments in dark space folding. They tried to study it, then they tried to run. Then, finally, they built Leviathan, this ship. To stop the Unmaker, but to seal it. Sira felt the air get colder. Then why the countdown? She asked. A final message answered. Because it has. Already followed us here. Silence. The scientists looked at each other, speechless. Then the ship showed them a final image. A star system, one of the Council's outposts. Gone. Just gone. No explosion. No warning. Just a hole in space. And at its edge, floating toward them, a second black sphere, larger than before. It was inside Council space now. Outside the ship, fleets began to panic. More systems were going dark. Ships sent to investigate never returned. The countdown continued. 4 days remaining. Sira stepped back from the monument. What do we do now? The human ship responded instantly. You unite, or you vanish. A new door opened. Inside were tools, designs, technology that humans had built to slow the Unmaker. None of it was easy. None of it was complete, but it was all that was left. And it was now theirs. As the team returned to the shuttle, Sira turned for one last look. The Leviathan didn't move. It didn't speak. But now they knew. Humanity hadn't sent the ship to show power. They had sent it because this was the galaxy's last chance, and time was running out. The silence of space returned after the chaos. The alien fleets that had once surrounded the lonely human ship were either destroyed or fleeing. What remained now was debris, glowing wreckage, and the still floating vessel, the Aegis. No one in the galaxy could understand how one ship, without visible backup, without a known superweapon, had done this. On the bridge of Aegis, Captain Leora stood quietly, her hands folded behind her back. Her face was calm, but her eyes were tired. Her crew, only 12 humans, worked silently at their stations. Most of them had injuries. They had used everything: tech, tactics, and even bluffing. Suddenly, a new signal flashed on their screen. Unknown source, said Ensign Yalin. It's a wide-range broadcast. Galaxy-wide. Leora nodded. Put it through. The screen turned white, then showed the face of High Marshal Drozik, the commander of the Galactic Unity Council. His expression was not angry. It was ... humble. He spoke slowly. To the people of Earth, and to the crew of the vessel called Aegis, we ask not in fear, but in awe. ... Why only one? The question echoed across millions of systems. Every species, every world, every news channel repeated the line. Why only one? Captain Leora took a deep breath and stepped forward. She looked into the camera, and her voice carried the weight of humanity's pain, power, and purpose. You ask why we sent only one ship, she said. We sent one because that is all we needed. Gasps filled every alien chamber. Drozik blinked. The broadcast continued. You measured us by fleet size, she said. by how many guns we carry, how many ships we launch. You forgot to measure our will. You forgot to measure our losses. You forgot to measure our reason for fighting." She paused, letting those words sink in. "For years, you isolated Earth," she continued. "Called us primitive, dangerous. You feared what we could become. So you banned us, exiled us. But that didn't stop us. It made us sharper, smarter, stronger." She stepped back slightly and gestured around the bridge. The crew stood together, despite injuries, exhaustion, and grief. "We sent only one ship," she said, "because we wanted you to see what just 12 humans can do when you push them to the edge." The Galactic High Marshal remained silent. Across the galaxy, species sat in silence, too processing, wondering, fearing. Leora's tone soft. But this ship was not sent to destroy. It was sent to show, to teach, to warn. The camera slowly turned and showed the outside of the ship scratched, scorched, but still intact. Then it zoomed out to reveal the wreckage of dozens of alien ships. "We don't want war," she added. "But if forced, we will not run from it. We will face it with everything we have, even if that means sending only one." Then she nodded to her crew. They began powering down the ship's weapons. The broadcast ended, far across the galaxy, in places Earth had never seen. Children would later ask their parents, "Did the humans really send just one ship?" And the parents would whisper, "Yes," and it was enough. The message had been received. Asterisk.